I'm Meg Greenfield. This is Andy Sledeback, who inspired this effort with a question he raised on the East Falls Village site. And we chatted back and forth, and he has done a tremendous amount of work on this while I was off skiing in the west, in the mountains in the west, and he was here and had to really carry the ball. So he has been wonderful, supportive, and I hate to tell you that he is leaving town, moving out of the city, out of the state in a week and a half. And that is to my great distress. I'm sure he's happy, but we are losing a wonderful community person, asset, caring about things. And I just want to thank Andy for everything he has done as far as we have gone on this. And I told you I wouldn't make you cry. Alon Abramson is from the Solarize Philly, Philadelphia Energy Authority, and he's going to take it from here, give you all some background, introduce our installers, and help you get questions answered. So thank you for coming.
I have this tiny little screen here, which I will use. I don't know if you guys will see anything, but this is our first kind of my first in-person thing since COVID. So apologies for the tech stuff, but I'll point this way. Let me know if this is useful at all. Feel free to move closer. But it's if anything, it's kind of a helpful guide for me to kind of speak to. If you don't know who we are, I'm with the Energy Authority. We're a independent government agency based in Philly. We actually are in City Hall, but we sort of operate on our own outside of the normal flow of city government, which is helpful because we can do things. So our focus is really get things done, use energy as a tool for change, really primarily focused on economic development in the city. So how can we leverage clean energy, solar power, energy efficiency, all this stuff to create jobs, to deal with poverty, improve environmental quality, all these things that we know are tied around energy. So that's where we are, that's what we do. Solarize Philly, obviously what we're here to talk about is a way for you to go solar at your home, at your business. It's kind of a full suite of services. At the Energy Authority, what we've done really is legitimize this enterprise, right? Like we've taken a lot of the guesswork out of this for Philadelphia residents and business owners. We know it's confusing. There's kind of uncertainty about pricing and all those kinds of things. So we contract out with partners, all three of which are here tonight. They can tell you about their services, but we've vetted them on their finances, on the equipment that they use, on the prices that they offer. We know that they're legitimate companies. We know their references. We've checked the actual physical installations of solar on customers' roofs. We've done the due diligence. So you know whoever you're talking to through Solarize Philly is going to give you a product that is going to be kind of legitimate and well priced and everything else. So that's the idea. We're the largest program of its kind in the country. So Solarize is kind of at its origin was like a 3 to 6 month long process where we opened it up for folks to sign up, try to sign a contract within that window to get a beneficial pricing. At this point, Solarize is operating more or less like continuously. So that element of like, I got to sign by now, like by a certain date is not as much of a factor, although prices are all over the place. So we still encourage you to sign up within our enrollment window, which is through the, at this point, the end of the summer. But anyway, the Solarize kind of program now is in its 6th year. And in that time, we have reached a little bit of an old slide, but yeah, we're at about 1,000 solar installations citywide. It's like $15 million of solar in the city, and over 100 jobs have been created directly from the solar power that's gone up in the city. So all the kind of elements that we're trying to do, increase consumer confidence, get solar installed, obviously, and stimulate the economy. All these things are happening, and it's leading directly to that job creation. So that's core to us. This is a sense, this is really small, but we're all over the city. That's what we're trying to show here. So the why go solar through Solarize Philly, I'll read my own slides, but as I mentioned, we fully vetted our contractors. We are kind of creating some confidence that the pricing is extremely competitive like compared to the market. So, you've got the vetted contractors and pricing that's going to be better or at least comparable to what you'd find in the market. All the equipment is vetted. It's all tier 1 panels, UL certified equipment. And what else? Yes, going solar through Solarize Philly supports lower income Philadelphians to go solar. So that's a big piece of what we're doing. We have an entire kind of program to allow low income folks to go solar through our partner agency, the Philly Green Capital Corporation, which I can talk about a little more if you have questions. And that Solarize Philly also supports our job training program. So we're kind of creating a whole pipeline, whole ecosystem here. I just wanted to point this out. Meg, I don't know if you want to talk about your direct experience with putting solar on your roof, but this is the slide with your the impact on your energy usage. Yeah, we can also come back to this slide, but really what I'm trying to show here is that aside from the spike in the winter time when there's not a ton of sunlight and Meg's running her heat pump electric electric heating system, though very efficient, is consuming more energy than her solar power, her solar system is producing. But otherwise, kind of across year round, you can see that she has basically no electric bill. So it works. And your system is from back in 2009, right? So.
$8K. I mean, that's pretty big. I put another 4 on in 2017. So, and I have flat roofs. And so it's not this average system. Nonetheless, my May bill from Pico is 0 because what they do is once a year, they tally up how much they owe you from putting power back in on the grid compared to what you use. And once a year, if you come out ahead, then they apply that to your bill. They don't do it every month. They'll give you a $10 and change charge, even if you produced more than you used. So if that chart is hard to see, but you could look at it later, but you'll see I have a lot of months where my energy usage is negative as far as they're concerned, and my bill is flat because I'm getting credit for everything I produced. But once a year, or twice a year, I'll get a 0 bill. Now, another caveat, we were away for 3 months, so the heat was set at 50, but we have running 2 heat pumps, one with the gas system and one that's totally electric. So that uses electricity, as does the plug-in hybrid car and a few other things. So it works, is all I can say.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, it's just, I know it's small, but really, I think the fact that this is a flat, set of bills is really what I wanted to show here. And there are, and what the installers are trying to do is really get you to like 0 bills all year round. And it's all about, can your roof fit it? How much electricity are you using? If you have like a big house with a lot of heat pumps and a small roof, you're probably not going to be able to put enough solar on there to cut your usage down to 0, but you will cut it down some, right? So that's kind of the idea here. And they could talk more about this as well. Just a quick slide here. I'm not going to get too much into the weeds, but we're growing the program. I mentioned we're in our 6th year now. Last year, we added Posigen Solar, and now offers a lease product. And we have thank you guys. And we have a new commercial installer as well that's like really large scale, like warehouse scale, that's doing commercial properties, as well as Solar States that does local commercial, and so as does Superior. So we can kind of cover the full range now. And the lease, I'll talk a little bit more about right here. So the kind of magic on the lease is that it's no cost upfront. So you can go solar at like nothing out of pocket. It is I mentioned there's kind of a low income component to Solarize. This is really where that fits in. So we can allow anybody to go solar. We don't care about your income. We don't care about your credit score. We're basically, filling in like the gaps for Posigen to make sure that they can put solar on any roof, as long as the roof is in good condition. It's fixed price, which is really nice as well, and especially in this kind of the state of the world right now, you're kind of locked in below today's electricity rate for 20 years, and electricity rates do not go down. So that's a good hedge against rising prices. And part of what Posigen does is also add some energy efficiency improvements to the home as part of their process. So they're really trying to lower your utility bills across the board. So like, yes, the solar is up there. That obviously is going to offset a lot of your energy use, but they're trying to weatherize and do that some work to reduce your baseline usage as well. And the pricing is designed to essentially guarantee your utility cost savings across the year. So really happy with that product, and it's just another option. And we could talk through kind of like benefits of ownership versus leasing. There's definitely a discussion to be had there. What about my roof? I'm just kind of preempting this question, which I'm sure would come up. We absolutely recommend that your roof is in good condition, that it was ideally has been worked on, has at least been, if not coated, like, resurfaced in the last 5 years. That's the ideal. It's not the end of the world if it's a little bit older than that. The solar panels themselves protect the roof surface. You can always coat around the panels as well. So there's workarounds. Then, of course, if there becomes an issue, especially on a flat roof, it's very easy to take the system off or raise part of the system if you need to do some service. They're weighted down with blocks on a flat roof, so there's no penetrations. And on a shingled roof, sloped roof, you can always have the solar company come and take that down if you need service as well. But that's the critical details there. And then the last thing I'll talk about, I think, sorry to just go through all these slides, but again, I just want to stress that this is, a lot of what we're doing is about job creation. It's about community development. We have 2 different job training programs. One is with the school district. So it's a 3-year program, sophomore year through senior year, and they learn kind of everything about solar, about energy efficiency. You basically graduate as like a solar trade person. So it's like a complement to like a plumbing program or, kind of more traditional career and technical education. So now there's like an actual solar program that started here in Philly that we're expanding statewide. And then the other piece is a like young adults, I think it's like 18 to 28 or something. That's with Powerwall PHL, and that's another kind of onboarding to the solar industry. And we got, all of our solar installers are basically looking at that group, both of these cohorts as their pipeline of recruitment to bring into the industry. So with that, it's my contact. I'm happy to send these slides out. Meg, you can share them with Evelyn and with the folks who are here. But at this point, I want to just hand it over to our installers who can speak as well. Sure. Yeah. Fair enough. Yep. So just to jump straight into the weeds. So when you install a system on your home, it's generating electricity. There is a market basically that's been developed to try to incentivize solar. So the state of Pennsylvania actually has a requirement that so much of the electricity in the entire state is produced through solar. And the way that they track that happens is through basically tabulating what we call solar renewable energy credits. And there's a whole marketplace for trading these, and they're a fungible thing, right? So like your system is producing electricity every time it produces 1,000 kilowatt hours, which is probably, depending on, I don't know, Meg, you're probably doing that at least once a month or maybe once every month and a half. Yeah, and so every time you generate 1,000 kilowatt hours, you basically like have this token that you can sell on the market that sells for about $35 net. And it's that's kind of it. It's a bit of magic. It's like a like cherry on top of the benefits that you're already getting from the solar generating electricity and lowering your utility bill. The caveat here is that you have to register your system with a very archaic system called GATS that like you really need, Meg is right that we need to let you know that this exists because you need to work with your installer to make sure that your system gets registered. It's not a huge process, but it's cumbersome and they require technical details about your solar installation that you're really going to be better off doing with your installer.
The installer did the registration. So it was no burden on me at all. And there are several different companies that will handle the SRECs, the solar renewable energy credits for you. The one I use gets the report. Every time I accumulate 1,000 kilowatts, they sell it in the market at the best price they can get. They take 10%, they send me a check. Or right now, they don't even send a check. They just put it in my bank account. So it took nothing for me to register. It may be cumbersome for them. And I don't know when you did it, what you did, but that's how I did it. And it was a piece of cake. And I just think if you're going to put solar on your roof and you're buying it, you can't do this if you lease it, from what I understand. You have to buy it. But if you pay for it, it's on your roof, it's yours. The installer should get you set up for the sale of the SRECs and make sure that you get your money. It's not a whole lot. I have to tell you, in 2009, it was $250 for 1,000 kilowatts. And then it dropped down as low as 9. And now it's up to almost 36. But you might get lunch for that, whatever. It pays some bills, you give it to your grandkids, whatever.
Yeah, I think all of the installers who are here and are part of our program will do that registration for you, but it is still worth knowing that that's there. And the flip side of this is that we actually have an SREC donation program in the Energy Authority, and that helps support that low income program like that. Basically, it's one-to-one. Any system that donates their SRECs supports a low income household to go solar. So it's also an option to kind of have like a even more direct impact. So with that, I feel like giving each of the installers a kind of 5 minutes as a quick, just like about would be great. And then we can just ask, if you have questions directly, you got the people to answer them. So I'm gonna start with Solar States. You guys are in the front row, so you look like you're eager. Just introduce yourself, talk about Solar States a bit.
Sure thing. Can you all hear me? All right. I'm Zach. This is Jacob. We're from Solar States. We are a solar installer and workforce development sort of organization. We've been around since 2008, sort of founded on our founder, Micah, getting really interested in solar, starting to educate himself, and then a lot of people asking him to educate them. Slowly but surely, he built a workforce with no jobs, so he started taking on solar jobs. And we do installations, but we also do a lot of training and education through the Philadelphia School District, Youth Build Philly Charter School, and a few other vocational programs to help people become solar installers with the goal of creating a more equitable green economy for anyone who wants in on this sort of industry. We do all manner of work, flat roofs, pitched roofs, commercial projects. We've been, like I said, around since 2008. So we've done over 900 different installations in and around the city of Philadelphia. We do ballasted systems like you mentioned, where we don't anchor the system to your roof, but we also do flush mount systems where needed to fit as many panels on your roof to make sure we're getting you the best offset that we can. We definitely help set up SRECs when people go solar with us. And yeah, I don't know, Jacob, you got anything? Hey, thanks. Who's next?
Superior, come up, Doug. As the name suggests, we got Superior Doug here.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. My name's Doug Davis. I'm a co-founder and co-owner of Superior Solar Design. We're located out in the burbs in King of Prussia. This is actually our first year with the Philadelphia Energy Authority, and we're very proud to be part of that. And we're very happy that we're invited to share our expertise and help put solar panels on every roof we can. So we also, just like Solar States, we do all different types of roofs, ground mounts, top of poles. There are many different ways to install solar. We've done things where really cool things like put solar canopies on the side of a building to create more space for solar panels. So when you're thinking about solar panels, there are lots of different ways that you can do it. Whether it's a flat roof, asphalt shingle roof, ground mount, top of pole, even have tracking systems. I don't know if anybody ever saw where it actually will follow the sun, tilt back and forth. So it maximizes productivity. Most people that want to get solar are driven by two motivators. It used to be mostly saving money, but now more than ever, I hear people saying that they want to do something for the environment. Saving money is great, but it's more important than that, and it's bigger than that. So that's really the biggest change that I've seen in solar. I've been in solar since 2008. Prior to this, I was an IT guy. I briefly retired. One of my buddies from California got in solar in the 70s. He came back. It was 2008. We got the Sunshine Grant Program. We got the Obama stimulus package. And he started getting in my ear about solar. And then I don't know if anybody ever had an epiphany, but bam, this big light bulb went, and it's still on. It's still on. So we love what we do, and it shows. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Anybody have any questions on anything? I like to talk, so go right ahead. Okay. All right. Here you go, Julian. Oh, sorry.
I'll just be emceeing here, I guess.
Good evening. Thank you for coming out. My name is Julian. I'm the community marketing manager at Posigen Solar. What we do with Posigen, we are a leasing option. We offer a lease option for low to moderate income individuals. So that way, everyone can have access to solar. And I was very, very proud to be, or we're very proud to be partners with the Philadelphia Energy Authority on the Solarize Philly campaign, because it aligns perfectly with our Solar for All campaign. We believe that everyone should have access to clean, renewable energy, regardless of your income, your credit, or what you have available to put out of pocket. So what we do, we come in, we analyze your PICO bill, and we custom build a system to cover your needs, or as close to as you possibly can, based on the size of your roof. And then from that point, we come out and we perform an energy audit. And we go through and we find different ways that we can try to save you money, be it programmable thermostats, LED light bulbs, or even something as simple as turning the water heater down to save energy that way. But one of the most important things I was very impressed with was the blower door test, because one of the highest expenditures of energy that we have is heating and cooling. So what we do, we pick a huge fan and we put it in your door and we suck all the air out the house. So that way we can find each and every source of loss, and we go through and we seal it up. So that way, thereby we're making your home more comfortable that way, so you don't have many drafts going back and forth. Now, most people say, hey, my house is new, my house is fine. And we did one of these tests on a newly renovated home within a few years, and that home was losing 7,550 basketballs of air per minute. Now, why I say a basketball, because a basketball is about a cubic square foot of air, and that's how they measure the test. So think about that. 7,550 basketballs, go Sixers, flying out your door, or your heating and your cooling going out. And also you have exhaust fumes, 7,500 basketballs of exhaust fume, dirt and pollen coming into your home. So we go in and we seal all those holes up and make your home more healthier and more comfortable. And as you invest in solar, as all the partners here mentioned, you are investing in your community. Because what we all aim to do, what I personally do myself, I go out to the people who are the guys who are standing on the corners, or the guys who are coming home from prison or something like that, looking for something to do so they won't go back to prison. And we offer them a part in our family in the green economy. So that way everyone has the opportunity to eventually have an income, so you can purchase your own home and enjoy Philadelphia how Philadelphia is supposed to. And one last point, at Posigen, we are serious about helping. So one of the things, yes, we want to get solar out there to everyone, but we also offer a community partnership program Whereas though we offer a partnership being as though with churches, nonprofits, and small businesses, whereas though every referral that you send over to Posigen, we offer a $400 referral fee for each one. And then for every 10 systems that are referred over and installed, we donate a free system to a person of your choice. So we're really serious about helping out in any way that we can. Hey, we know we're not going to get all the solar business, and we're more than happy to share with our friends, but we're here to do our part. Thank you for allowing me to spread this positive energy.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah. Yeah, so we could take questions. That's the kind of formal presentation part of this, and now it's dialogue. So I don't know if anybody's got anything specific. Meg always does, yeah. So I'll repeat them for the folks on the phone. Yeah, do you guys want to come up and then we'll pass this around? Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Yeah. So the question was whether there's a, what is the warranty on equipment and installation? Does that vary across installers? And I'll let the installers themselves answer.
Thanks for the question. So all the equipment, the panels, the microinverters that we use, and the rack and rail systems have a 25-year warranty from the manufacturers. So the panels are manufactured, or the manufacturer warranty on the panels is for the product themselves, as far as them operating the way that they're supposed to. There's also a production warranty from most of the manufacturers against a certain level of degradation over the 25 years that the panels are warranted by the manufacturers. The microinverters are also product warranted by the manufacturers, the rail systems as well. At Solar States, we offer a 10-year workmanship warranty on anything we do to your roof, provided the roof is within a certain threshold of age. So if your flat roof is 10 years old, we may want you to look at getting it recoated or redone, just because if we put something on your roof that's 10 years old or more, there may be issues that occur that aren't our fault that kind of crop up around our work. But if we certify the roof, if we say the roof is good to go and it's, installed by us, you're going to get that 10-year workmanship warranty. So any leaks, any problems around the roof for the work that we did, we'll take care of, no problem.
And from the leasing option, it's sort of like a car. You go out, you buy a car cash. Hey, that's yours. That's your problem. Well, with Posigen, we offer a lease option. So at any given time, we make sure that you have the most current and most up-to-date equipment to produce your energy for your needs. So we make sure that's how we kind of guarantee it that way. And we also have a roofing company. So if you have any problems with your roof, well, even before we get to really replacing the roof, we have a certain amount of funds. Whereas though if your roof has a little damage or something else is in the home, needs a little repair, we can assist you with making those repairs. It's not an astronomical amount, but it's enough. It may be maybe putting the flashing may need to be a little something, or that something with the electrical system may need a slight update. Or something like that. So like the option between buying a car and leasing a car. That type of situation with the lease versus purchase over here. The purchase, you call the manufacturer. The lease, you call us and get on his nerves.
Awesome. Okay.
You say you like to talk.
Yeah, you're sitting down here. Well, you're welcome to come up, Doug. I said you're welcome to come up too if you want to answer questions. Yeah.
So it's usually recommended that you fold these systems into your homeowner's insurance because the manufacturers will cover certain issues and situations with the panels themselves, more so tied to any faultiness through manufacturer error or things of that nature. But when you fold them into your homeowner's insurance, it protects you against anything that the warranty doesn't. They usually, depending on the level of homeowner's insurance you have, fold in pretty easily and don't do much premium increase. But that's also a case-by-case basis depending on the homeowner's insurance. But yeah, it's safer to make sure that level of protection is there if you're purchasing the system, because anything could really happen per se, and you'd rather have that safety there in case the manufacturer comes back and says we don't cover that aspect.
We offer the 20-year lease, so any problem that you may have or encounter, you give us a call, and then we take care of it from there. We have a concierge that handles those type of problems. So anything happens as far as any repairs or insurance needs, we help you out throughout the entire process. It says it's a 20-year hitch.
Yeah, for sure.
They're wind rated and snow rated for thousands of pascals, which break down to hundreds of pounds per square foot.
Yeah, I love that. That's a good team building exercise. That's awesome. All right. Any other questions?
Can you repeat the questions when they're
Yeah.
said?
Yeah, that last question, sorry, was about whether the warranty covers hail, and the response was more about folding that into the home insurance because but the panels are pretty well protected. They're rated for hail. So
Thank you.
yep.
How would a lease program work if you sold your home?
Good question. Yeah.
All right. Like I said, with the lease option, it's basically just like a lease. It can be broken out. We can let us know. We can either leave it on the roof for the new tenant if they're willing to sign on for a lease, or we can simply go up and take it off and move it to your new home, so you won't lose any savings.
Yeah, no termination fee, I think, is the most important thing on the lease. And that's part of why we just introduced the lease product in Philly, because Posigen's the first company that we've encountered that's offered a lease that doesn't have anything that's like alarming for us. Typically the lease has like a really nice day one price, and then it sort of like escalates year to year. Posigen's is flat across the lifetime, which is really excellent. And there's no fees for basically exiting that lease if you need to sell your home or whatever, things happen, right? So I want to make sure folks are protected. Any other questions? I'll repeat what you asked. So the question was, so Posigen had mentioned that they look at the roof and they also do energy efficiency work in the home. And for Superior and Solar States, what else are they doing besides, just the solar installation? What kind of wraparound services, I guess?
Whenever possible, if we're able to get a structural analysis done, typically in the burbs, most houses have some attic space, so we can look up there and get the calculations from the smart guys and put everything together. Solar panels really only add about 2 pounds per square foot to your roof, so it's not a whole lot. You could stack all the panels up in one spot, and it's still going to be fine. So to answer your question, whenever possible, we get a structural analysis done. And also, if there's some question as far as sometimes a homeowner might be a new homeowner and they're not really sure what's going on up there, then we can send somebody up and take a look and then go from there.
I'm a surveyor and designer for Solar States, so I go out and see a lot of electrical systems. If I notice something's wrong or there's like some major call out on the electrical system, we'll have like our founder, Micah, will come out. He's a master electrician. He'll fix up like your issues for you, especially if it makes it easier for you to go solar in the future. So that's a service we offer. Yeah.
I just mentioned that you guys do look at the roof.
Yeah, we take a look at the roof. We have drones that we use for our surveys, so we'll take a close look at the roof. And I usually will get in the inside of the roof and check out the insides too. We don't fix up the roof or anything, but we will let you know if there's any red flags there as well.
Yeah, for sure.
We have a number of roofers that we refer that we've worked with in the past that we trust and, believe in.
Yeah, it's in the installer's best interest that your roof is in good shape, because the last thing they want is for you to get a system up there and then call them, the next year or next week or whatever. So yeah, all three will make sure that the roof condition is sound, and then or advise you, to make repairs or whatever might be needed. You want to ask your second question? That's great. The question is on options for battery storage.
Yeah, so at Solar States, we offer the Tesla Powerwall system, which you might be familiar with. It comes in one size, I believe. Yeah, 13.5 kilowatt hours. So it's usually enough to power, I'd say, a fridge, microwave, a few circuits in your house. So to charge a phone or something, you could power your internet router, modem. Probably get a few more things on there too, like a fan, maybe even an AC unit if you're being really careful about your usage. We also offer something from Enphase, which is a different company. It's just a different battery system, pretty similar to Tesla's. There are some differences. I don't have to get into all that right now, but yeah, we have a couple battery storage options. Typically it does tack a good amount of money onto the project, but it can be worth it. Especially if you have time of use rates or something like that. You can even set your battery to prioritize using battery power during certain times of day. So the battery systems, I always say, I think the battery technology is about where solar was 5 to 10 years ago. It's growing and growing and always evolving. So
Sure.
I just wanted to add a little bit about this, what this gentleman from Solar States was talking about, battery backup systems. And what he was referring to would you could pick some lights, this, that, or the other thing. When the systems are installed, I don't know if everyone knows this, but when the power goes out, solar's required to shut down because it can backfeed in the lines and pretty much hurt somebody, really mess them up bad if they don't know there's power coming through there. So what happens if systems shut off automatically, right? And then if you have a battery backup system, that inverter now will become the main service panel of your home. And what's called a critical load panel, what this gentleman is referring to, is where you have a selection, definitely your refrigerator, security, lights, things that are most important to you. So that's the most economical way to put battery storage or energy storage in your home. We have some customers that want to do their whole house. We don't want a critical load panel. We have a big house, 6 batteries. That's what I want. Yeah, so it's you can go 1 battery with a critical load panel, or you could power your whole house. Just depends. Pardon me? Well, each battery would be about 10 kilowatt hours. So if you have a let's say 6 of them, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So it's also,
So it's
if the sun is shining or not.
And then during the day, there's some solar from the sun. So the battery's only operating at night, and all day it stays on a trickle charger, keeps it maintained at an optimum level.
One thing I'll add to that is we generally say that with the right size battery system and with an appropriate size solar system, you can run off of battery power indefinitely for say 8 to 9 months out of the year. Where you're going to run into issues is in the summertime when you're pulling more loads for the energy you need, if you're using AC, but also in the wintertime when there's less sunlight and you maybe have lost power because of a snowstorm, you're going to run into issues with that battery backup and the solar running in a way that allow you to run the essential things you need indefinitely. You may have to scale back certain choices, like you may reduce it down to just your refrigerator, or it's sort of like you have to get clear on what's important to you in those moments. But battery technology is the next thing that has to evolve in the solar industry. Like, they're good now. They need to be much better for them to be more financially viable overall for folks to put them into their homes to the degree that would allow them to power everything in their home during a long-term power outage.
One thing I just want to add as the kind of government neutral third party face here is that we really don't advise them to anybody unless you have pretty chronic power outages, or like, or you're on like medically assisted devices in your home and like you need security, like you need the power to not go out, right? Like, I think most of us can handle like, yes, the food spoiling is a bummer, but like these systems are really expensive right now. So unless it's really, really critical, or like, that it's going to be a problem, that's just my position.
And now also with Posigen, we down in Louisiana, we're working on what we're calling the microgrid project, and then we will have a leasing option for batteries in this area relatively soon in the future.
That's news to me, so it's exciting. Any other questions?
Is there a practical solution yet to getting the snow off the panels? Because we don't get a lot, but when we get it, it can sit there for days and it's sunny and you're not generating. Now, I have gone up on the roof with a snow broom, which is a very soft broom that people use on their cars normally, on their windshields. It doesn't scratch. And I have a flat roof and I have space, so I can't reach the stuff Solar States installed, but I can reach the old system, a lot of it, and literally pull the snow off the roof. I don't think it's a great deal of fun. I don't think most people want to do it. And has anybody developed a system that will help move it off faster?
Whoever wants it.
Actually, what you're saying is probably very dangerous. I would never recommend somebody go up on the roof with the snow. Typically, the panels are going to, the snow is going to melt off the panels a lot faster than the rest of the roof, because as soon as it stops snowing, the sun's coming out, it's going to go right through the snow. What? Well, a couple of years ago, we had a lot of snow. Yeah. Right. But typically, I mean, most people just wait until it melts off. There really isn't anything other than what you did. There really isn't anything that I'm aware of, unless.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is if you potentially, the only thing I can think of, because a customer asked me this recently, was if you maybe hired an electrician to install some sort of heat induction system around the panels, but I'd be weary to suggest that specifically, just because I'm not. Yeah, it's like kind of a meh. So I mean, there's a valid point to the degree that the panels will eventually warm up from the sun to melt the snow. How long that takes is variable, for sure. And I think that's kind of where the net metering aspect, where you've built up enough credits to help kind of cover some of those days. Want to be looking at the production estimates that a company is offering you, finding out if they, guarantee them if they feel comfortable and they've taken into account snow days and cloudy days. Because if they can show you production values that will cover most, if not all, of your electricity, you know that you're going to have credits available to cover your bill at least until the snow melts. Mm-hmm. So net metering is the basic mechanism with which a solar system offsets your electricity bill. So the general way it works is whenever you go solar, there's an interconnection agreement in place with your utility, which is in this area, obviously PECO. And what PECO does is they put what's called a bidirectional meter on your home, which allows them to register everything that they send you from their grid, but everything you also send them from your solar system. Because during the day, your solar system is going to generate more electricity than your home can consume at any given moment. So that excess electricity has to go somewhere, goes out into the grid, feeds your neighbors actually within, about a 5-block radius. And Pico charges your neighbors for this. So they now owe you by law a credit for every kilowatt hour that you send into the grid. It's a 1-to-1 credit. So basically what happens is, let's say your system produces 40 kilowatt hours in a day and it consumes 10 during that time. Then at night when the sun goes down, you need electricity. Pico will feed you electricity, but instead of charging you, they'll take from your bank kilowatt hour credits. Now, if your system produces more electricity than you need, and then you end up consuming at night, those excess credits roll over to the next day, to the next week, to the next month. And that's sort of how you build up the ability to offset as much of your bill as your roof will allow. Does that make sense? Cool. Yeah. Yeah, if you go over 100% production, the excess will be paid out by Pico in May, usually. And then for Posigen, obviously, you guys got it.
Oh, yeah.
And that metering, right? They hit it right on the head. Actually, Athena explained it to me. Like, I'm not sure how long you've been in Philly, but we used to have meters that would spin when you were using power. But with the net metering, if we still had those meters, you would see it spinning back the other direction, that type of thing. So actually bringing money back in. Then also with that, like I said, and then nighttime, when your power consumption is coming in, your home is now energy efficiency sealed. So your heating is staying in and your heat and your cool air is staying in. So it makes no sense. So nighttime is all hot and humid outside, you're actively keeping that out. So you use less electricity and saving your air conditioning. So the net metering works more in your favor while with the energy efficiency process.
I want to talk about some stuff nobody brought up yet. Some of the coolest stuff with solar that my customers seem to like the most, besides that $0 electric bill, is the monitoring, where you get a nice phone app and you can sit there and then boom, anywhere, just say, hey, look what I'm doing right now. And it'll have all this information on it. They're free apps. You download it on your phone, you can look at it on your laptop, but you'll know what your system by every single module is making, how much power. So it's a couple of different things. When we talk about power, when we say KW, that's an indicator of power. The energy from the power is kilowatt hours. So oftentimes a person say, I have a 10 kW system. That's the nameplate size, right? That means on any perfect day, that's the most that system can make. A 10K, 10,000 watts of power, which is a lot. So I just want to share some monitoring because a lot of people, how I know if it's working. You can see it every day working.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, each of the systems has an app. And yeah, I know.
That's also a good way to keep Pico on.
Yeah. Any other questions from the audience? As many as you want. Hmm. Yeah, 26% tax credit, investment tax credit. Yeah. Yeah, I'll repeat this question for folks on the computer too. The question is really about timeline. Like, you sign up today, like what's your kind of expectation for when the system will be operable, right? We want to start.
I'll go, sure. Usually a solar installation on our end, the installation companies, a project might only be a couple, 3 days. That's it. What's the time wasters are usually Pico. Pico allows himself X amount of days. So typically when you get solar, one of the first things we're going to do is get a plan set, get some electrical drawings, do an interconnection application to Pico, which basically is asking, can we tie into the grid and net meter now? So when you get into like working with Pico, they're going to say, all right, you have 15 business days, or we have 15 business days before we have to give you an answer. So that's for a level one, anything 10,000, 10 kW or below. Anything above that, they'll give themselves an extra 15 days on top of that for an engineering study. Sometimes they might call it a field study where they're going to send someone out to look. But typically, I would say, what do you think, like 6 to 8 weeks? Yeah, from beginning to end. Beginning to end, 6 to 8 weeks, and it's imperative to act now more than later because the prices are going up. We're expecting another price increase in June, and the tax credit is going down 4%. So it's better now than later.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, right now it's 26% tax credit. I think January 1st, 2023, at 22%. So if you sign up before the end of this year, you should be good with the 26%. You can speak more to that.
So basically at Solar States, we like to say, from signing of an agreement to installation, our like most conservative estimate is about a 4 to 5 month window. Just because we know, like Doug was mentioning, PECO will drag their feet on things. Sometimes the city of Philadelphia will drag their feet on permitting, things like that. We've got to get materials in line for the project and things of that nature. So as long as you get a system installed this year, you'll get a 26% tax credit. Anything installed, say January 1st, 2023, you'll get 22%. So if you want to take advantage of the highest tax credit you can that's available currently, you want to get this system installed this year. For us specifically, we're kind of putting that cutoff date around the end of July as far as signing an agreement. Now, granted, we say 4 to 5 months, mostly because if we do it in 3, you're happy. If we do it in 4, that's what you expected, you're happy. So we don't want to undershoot our expectations and then have PECO turn around and say, oh, well, your dock set, because they kind of can sometimes. Or like the state of Philadelphia or city of Philadelphia may come back and say, we have an issue with this. What does this mean? And we have to clean it up with them, because it's just kind of how it is with bigger organizations and sort of governments of that nature. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and I'm sorry. All right. Oh, okay, no problem. So with Posigen, we have leasing options. Well, we also have a purchase option as well. And for the option there, and I think our partners have covered what you get from the purchase. Now, on a leasing option, you don't get the tax credits, but you do have I said no money out of pocket, no income requirements, no really no hindrances from anyone stopping to get solar. And we offer that base same rate for 20 years. Nothing is the same price as it was 20 years ago. So when considering leasing versus purchasing, that is something that you can kind of take into consideration. Pardon me. That we might, but the tax credits aren't there, but we do offer that one baseline cost that would never change. Now, and please forgive me, as we were talking here and talking about how much our roofs are going to work for us and everything else. I keep going back to Jag clamping in the backyard, shooting at some food, and boom, pop the oil coming out of the backyard. If you go to California, they got these little mini pumps all up and down, all over the place. This is our opportunity here in Philadelphia to get a quote unquote solar well on top of your home. So your home is actually bringing in energy, bringing in money, helping the PECO grid. And you have a fixed rate for 20 years. I wish I could pay what I was paying for gas 20 years ago. So that's basically the way out between leasing and purchasing.
I just connected how it's interactive. Yeah, PECO, as they were struggling a few years back, they're losing revenue. They're hiring people to make it so they can lose more revenue, increase their payroll. So I don't know how crazy they were about solar coming in town, but in the last couple of years, they started something called Connect the Grid, where the consumer, which were mutual customers of the solar company and PECO. So we enter your information in Connect the Grid. We put your contact information in there, and now the homeowner can follow the progress of what's going on with PECO. It's a major, major improvement over what it was before.
We're at 8 o'clock, so I want to be respectful again of folks, but we can hang out and answer questions if you've got them. But That's for Julian.
But I just wanted to point that out for Pastor Jerry, thank her in her absence and the basketball.
Yep. Yeah, okay, I can do that too.
And the reason why I asked is because
I didn't write that language, so I'll still try to answer your question. So the question was about what's kind of the mechanics of the 6% investment tax credit, right? I mean, that's basically it, right? I can.
You calculate your taxes, and if you owe $10,000 in taxes, you can get a credit against that of 26% of the cost of your solar installation, assuming you bought it and it's your house. Now, if you don't need it all that year, it carries over to the next year until you use it up. Now, I don't know whether you can get a refund or not. I'm not a tax lawyer. I'm not any kind of lawyer anymore because I retired. But that's how it worked for me. It was just a credit against what I otherwise would have had to pay to the IRS.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, so I think just to put like a fine point on that, if you don't have a tax liability, if you're a fixed income living off social security or something like that, that's probably what we were referring to of like the caveat. You need to have, and that's part of the challenge for like a nonprofit, like a church as well, is like they can't redeem that 26%. So it makes the economics difficult for nonprofits for sure. But yeah, there's the cost of the system. I think the $10,000 example is perfect. That would be $2,600 back on your taxes if you don't have $2,600 liability. Bless you, I guess. You're doing something better with your money than I am. But you know, you can apply, you can roll that over, and it's over the course of 5 years. Yeah, so that's pretty much it.
We always recommend you consult a tax expert on that.
Yes, thank you.
Any kind of questions?
Yes, always consult a tax expert.
Yeah.
We are not tax experts. I think we are. I'm literally required to say that as a government employee. Any other questions from folks online? Take that as a no. Okay. So, super appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Such a beautiful night. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we'll just get in touch.
I'm gonna end this meeting here as well. Have a good night.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.